After 5 years of practically zero progress on this investigation, the January 6th Pipe Bomber may, and let me emphasize, may, have been proven to be a former Capitol Police officer. Before I blow out the details on this, please, if you enjoy what you hear in this video, then like and subscribe to help build this kingdom. For those who do not know, there were a pair of pipe bombs that were found at both the RNC and DNC the night before the January 6th protest. No one was arrested despite hours of footage, and everything was basically lumped in together that January 6th was in fact an inside job. Now, let me be more specific to that. When I say inside job, I do not mean a grand conspiracy on every level of government. It may have been, but that does not mean that there is enough evidence to conclude such. Details like how Mayor Bowser, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer all refused National Guard aid that day. Or the recent admittance that almost 300 federal agents were amongst the ranks of the protesters in plain clothes. Or video footage of the J6th shaman being escorted into the building by police. Same thing with this video footage of this protester who was brought into the building uncuffed and then gives a fist bump to the two guards. And that's not to mention the fact that the front doors are electromagnetically sealed, so the only way to get through the front door is for it to be opened, but I'm not going to hammer on this point too long, you get it. And recently, on November 8th, an article by Steve Baker and one of his associates at Blaze Media purports to have found who may in fact have placed those pipe bombs the night before January 6th. And I will emphasize again, this article is not definitive. The article is titled, "Former Capitol Police Officer, a Forensic Match for January 6th Pipe Bomber, Sources Say." This is kind of a follow-up to the release of the FBI's 8.5-minute video from late October, which has altered and missing footage according to people online. Through the use of this program, a forensic analyst believes that this woman, pictured here, Shawnee Ray Kirchhoff, to have a 94 to 98% match to the J6th bomb suspect. In the first part of the article here, it reads, quote, "A software algorithm that analyzes walking parameters including flexion, or knee bend, hip extension, speed, step length, cadence, and variance, rated Shawnee Ray Kirchhoff, 31, of Alexandria, Virginia, as a 94% match to the bomb suspect shown on video from January 5th, 2021. Now, all of that said, plus the rest of the article, it really does just come down to an educated guess and nothing more. Again, this isn't to say that she isn't in the video, nor that she isn't the suspect, but we don't know for sure. However, here's what makes a lot of people really believe this is probably true. Under this section, it says here, quote, "Kirchhoff, who was a Capitol Police officer for 4.5 years, left the department in mid-2021 for a security detail at the Central Intelligence Agency," sources told Blaze News. I mean, truth be told, there is nothing more suspicious than a former Capitol Police officer who fired on the protesters with rubber bullets and shit, and she gets a job at the CIA. Now again, it's security detail, and most people won't report that that's the case. They just hear, she got a new job at the CIA. So, okay. I understand why people are really confused about this, and it's not necessarily wrong to understand that. But it gets worse, because further under here is another section which talks about, quote, "Former FBI Special Agent Kyle Seraphin realized Friday that he was doing surveillance next door to the woman now suspected of being the January 6th pipe bomber." It continues with a quote from Kyle Seraphin saying, quote, "The FBI put us one door away from the suspected pipe bomber within days of January 6th, and we were deliberately pulled away for no logical or logically investigative reason," Seraphin told Blaze News Friday. And everything about that tells me that they were involved in a cover-up and have been since day one. So yeah, Kyle and his team were literally next door to Kirchhoff, and they were told, hey, you're removed from the investigation. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and as the saying goes, today's conspiracy theories are just tomorrow's truth. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if it turns out she was actually the pipe bomber, but again, nothing definitive, so I cannot definitively say. And the next section details the gate analysis software more in depth, where it compares the footage of Kirchhoff on January 6th to the suspect's footage from January 5th. And much of the remainder of the article details the Secret Service's reaction to the pipe bombs, rewards for information, and theories online, on Twix in particular, about various timelines which are just not comparing well to the FBI's because the FBI is believed to have messed with the footage. Again, the article is not definitive, as the gate analysis software ranks the possibility of Shawnee Kirchhoff being the suspect at 94%. Now, that's a really high percentage, but again, without further investigation, this only remains as a good guess. However, as the FBI's walked back on information and excuses like the lack of further investigation, Kyle Serafin's team being removed from the case, and many more things being big hints, there's obviously something being covered up. And if none of this turns out to be the case anyway, which, again, is a very slim possibility, then Shawnee Kirchhoff may very well become a very wealthy woman if she ends up suing Blaze Media for defamation. And if you want to read the article for Blaze Media yourself, I will link it down below for everyone to read. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, then please like, share, comment, and subscribe to help build this kingdom. Head over to my main channel, Albeleo, for movie reviews and discussions. Head to my tertiary channel, Balmorian Galaxy, for BattleTech and MechWarrior content. And if you feel so inclined, then please donate to me on Subscribestar so I can produce more content for all of you. I thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.